Hello, everyone. This is.
Hi.
I'm going to mute everyone's microphones at certain points where hey, everyone is welcome to type into the chat questions, and one of us will answer while the other one is talking. So this will be will be in two sections: review of the Artist in Residence Grant Program, and the second section we will online application. On, and she will start with an overview.
Everyone, my name is Alma Guzman. Thank you for joining our webinar tonight. Today, as Chris mentioned, we'll be going over the framework of the Artist in Residence program and taking a closer look at our new online grant system. Chris will be on chat answering questions for the first half of the webinar, and then we'll make a switch when we delve deeper into the application, and then I'll be answering questions on chat. So what is the AIR grant program? The main purpose of the AIR program is to support teaching artists who are interested in providing workshops in non-art venues in the city of LA. DCA awards up to 30 grants, 15 grants of $8,000 and 15 grants of $4,000. We try to place 2 artists in each of the 15 council districts part of the city of LA. The amount a grantee receives is based on your panel ranking. Please also keep in mind that when you're applying for projects that are a year in advance. So funding for this program supports projects between July 1st, 2017 and June 30th, 2018. So what can the funds be used for? Your grant should support workshops held in accessible facilities, which also means that these facilities should be ADA compliant. Funds should be used for projects that are creative and guided by a strong artistic vision. And of course, projects that promote engagement and growth. And we're also looking for projects that result in at least one low-cost or free culminating event that is open to the community. This is actually a requirement. We actually put this in your contract, so please keep that in mind. So who's eligible to apply? First, DCA is looking for artists who are LA County residents. Second, you must have at least 2 years of experience leading workshops in your artistic discipline, which must be demonstrated in the resume that you are required to attach to your application. And lastly, residency applicants must be unaffiliated with nonprofit organizations that provide similar services as those being proposed. This program is targeting independent artists and self-directed artists that don't already have access to this kind of support. So who isn't eligible for the program support? Well, first, students, unfortunately. We also can't fund artists who are proposing projects that are chiefly affiliated with other nonprofits providing similar services. And again, just to reiterate what I just said, this program is here to support individual artists who don't have this type of support. This program can't support projects that are hosted by organizations already receiving funds from DCA. So if your host organization is a DCA grantee, you can't move forward with that project. Please look for another host organization. And lastly, projects that provide payment to DCA employees or commissioners. So with this program, applicants are required to seek their own venue, and the hope is that you develop a working relationship with your host as well. Ideally, your host venue will share your vision and goals, commit to providing 50% value match of your grant. This can be in kind, like the venue, marketing support, and even staff time. Your host organization should provide a space that is ADA accessible and be able to provide outreach support to help you promote the series to the community. The demographics and geographic dispersion. DCA's goal with this program is to be able to provide artistic services to all 15 council districts in the city of LA. We want all residents to have access to the benefits of arts programming. So that being said, our panelists are instructed to incentivize projects taking place in underserved districts. And those districts are 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. And these are considered underserved, and these council districts are located mainly in South LA and the Valley. Council districts that are considered mildly underserved are 5, 10, 11, and 15. And just for your information, the districts that are considered overserved are 1, 4, 13, and 14. And those council districts are mainly in Northeast LA, downtown LA, and Hollywood. And that's not to say that you can't apply to host projects in these districts, but it's just a heads up that these districts are always extremely competitive because everybody is applying with these districts. So these are the components of the application. First, we start off with a cover sheet that requires that you provide contact information and host venue information. Then we move on to a project narrative where you talk more about your qualifications and the project that you want to propose. We ask that you submit a timeline of your project. So we ask that you submit short descriptions of each workshop session. We'd like you to also submit a resume and an estimated project budget detailing all the expenses for your project. We also ask for a host organization letter that has or where your relationship with your host organization is outlined. And then, of course, an artistic work sample that shows your capability of providing workshops for groups. And this work sample can be a video, can be images, published material, or audio. So submission of the application. First, we ask everyone to register at dcafluidreview.com. This is our new online system, so everyone is required to register. It's a really short process. We ask for email and a password, and that's it. Once you're in the system, of course, you are required to fill out all the online proposal forms. You submit that electronic copy by Friday, October 28th, and then we also ask that you print out a hard copy to mail to DCA by Monday, October 31st, not 32nd, that's a typo. So that's Halloween. And you are also allowed to drop off that copy if you wish. We do have a website with all our detailed guidelines of the application. It's at dcaredesign.org/AIR. And this website contains more information about the program and a link to the actual application. And I can visit that quickly. Okay, so here is our microsite. You'll find more information about DCA and the Artists in Residence program. how to prepare for the application, so more information about eligibility, grant amounts, the panel review process. You'll also find a webinar schedule. This is the last webinar for the Artist in Residence program, but we will be posting a recording in the next few days. And under applying, you'll find the link to the application. It's under Submit Proposal, and it's the red link down here. Of course, if you need to contact us, you'll find information here, our phone number and our email. So at this time, I'm going to turn it to Chris, who will walk you through the online application.
All right, thank you, Alma. We can give her, everyone can give her a little round of applause. Let's change the screen over to my screen. And what everyone is looking at now is, if I scroll this up, once you log into the actual application, you'll see a task list. I'm going to go back one more page, if I can. Let's see here. What happens if I hit home? That's not the place I wanted to go. Perhaps we'll get back to that later. Once you log in and you submit, decide to submit a proposal, you'll come to this page here, which has a task list of items that you will need to complete your Artist in Residence grant application. The very first item is the main form itself. And we've already started the form, so instead of saying start, the button says continue. If you want to review the form itself before you actually start filling it out, you click on, you can click on here, where we have to preview the contents of the application form, view this PDF version, and it will download a PDF version of the form itself. This is what the PDF looks like. So we're going to go to the actual online form itself right now. Let's hit continue. Right now we're in the second page. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Actually, that was the third page. There are 3 pages to the online application form. To navigate between the pages, you will notice that if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see 2 buttons. You'll see next page, and when you're past the first page, you'll see a button that says previous page. Then you see save and continue editing. You can't move from the first page to the second page or the second page to the third page until you've completed the page that you're on with the complete set of data. Then you can click save and continue editing or the next page. If you don't have a complete set of data, you get an error message, and it'll pop up right next to the item that needs to be completed. So to begin with, the application form has a cover page, which we ask for your legal name, your professional name, if it's different from your legal name, an address. If you have a mailing address that is different from your official address, then click yes and enter your address here. I'm going to click no. Then you enter a phone number and an email address and a website. The website does have a specific format. It should have the http://. It should be there when you log into the form. If not, just remember to put that in front of your URL link there and you will be fine. The next item is BABN ID number. This stands for Business Assistance Virtual Network. If you have been a previous DCA grantee in recent years, you will already have a Bevan ID number. If you haven't applied to DCA in a long time, or if you've never applied to DCA, you don't have this number yet, and you should get one. It's fairly quick and easy to do. You just need to go to this website here that we provided a link for, and then click register. And it's a fairly quick process. If you need help with that as you're going through it, let us know. I'm going to go back to the form. And the Bevan ID number will be something like a 6-digit number, and you can just enter it in there. Then we ask for your location. We need to make sure that you are a resident of LA County, and that you are, if you're in the city of LA, we ask that you pick the city council, select the city council district that you're located in. And that's just to verify your eligibility. The next 3 places that we have that we request locations of will be council districts of service. Question 11, we asked which council district is your primary council district that you hope to do your project in. If you don't know the council district of where you are or where your proposed host venue is, we have a link here, this neighborhood info link. If you click on that, it opens up this app which is found on the City of LA website. You can type in any address, and if it's within the City of LA, it'll pull up all kinds of information about it. The most important for us is which city council district you're in. So this is City Council District 3. So question 11, we ask that you provide the council district of your proposed host venue. Questions 12 and 13, we ask for a second and third alternate. Should you be recommended for a grant, but not receive a high enough score to be in the council district of your choice. Now, we're not asking you to set up relationships with 3 different host organizations. We're asking that you establish a relationship with one, and that'll be your primary organization. And then for alternate and second alternate locations, we ask that you brainstorm ideas places that you may partner with if you find yourself being requested to move to a different council district. Let's go to the next page. Now I want to point out that at the top of the page, there's a back button. If you click this particular back button, it'll kick you out of the form and put you back into the task list. So you won't only want to click this if you really want to go back to the task list. It won't take you back 1 page. To go back 1 page, you have to scroll down to the bottom of the page and click the previous page button. The second page on the application form, we ask for the project name or title, a proposed start date, and a proposed project end date. Then we ask for some basic host venue information. Like, what is your name of your host venue? What is the address of your host venue? And what is the approximate date of the culminating event? We ask for the number of artists that will be served by the project, which will be you, and if you have any collaborating artists working with you, you add that to your number as well. So it would be a minimum of 1, and maybe a few more than that once you add in your collaborating artists. Question number 21, we ask how many participants do you estimate will be served by the project? That is, how many people will attend the workshops. You do not have to have the same people at each and every workshop, but we do require that throughout all of your workshops you have at least 20 people. Then for question 22, we ask how many audience members do you estimate will be attending the culminating event? Bear in mind that if you do get a grant, we require that you have at least 40 members of the public attend the culminating event. I'm just going to leave that blank so you can see what the error message looks like. It pops up this error message. Please check your answers below and correct them before continuing. And again, there's another error message right by the actual question. All right, so the last page of the application form is the actual narrative. This is the bread and butter of your application, and this is previous proposals when we had, or in our previous guidelines when this was a hard copy. This tended to be, I think we gave you a 3 or a 4 page limit. And because this is a digital world now, we have word limits instead of page limits. So the very first question, we want you to demonstrate your ability to carry out this project, and we want basic information about this project. So you basically consider this as if you're a journalist, and we want to know the what, where, when, why, and how of the project. What is the actual project? It will be a series of workshops teaching senior citizens fabric arts, knitting and crocheting, maybe some needlework. Where will it take place? It'll take place at a specific senior center in Council District 6. When will it take place? It'll take place between January of 2017 and March of 2017 with a culminating event in April. Why are you doing this? Because senior citizens with activity benefit from having the activity, and they have better health and a better quality of life. And then finally, how are you going to be doing this? So you'll be, as an individual, you'll be leading the workshops, but for 2 of the workshops, you'll have collaborating artists teach specific techniques. So this is question number 1, is where we like to see the details of the project and get a good picture of what the project will be. Question number 2, we ask for you to provide what your key qualifications are for being the lead person on this project. What is it about you and yourself that will give a reviewer confidence that you'll be able to complete this project? You've done it many times before, you've got specific degrees, you've got you've received acclaim for much of your artistic work, so you know what you're talking about. This is where you talk all about that. Question number 3, describe the short and long-term community benefits that will result from your proposed residence. So this is more of the more detail as to the why of the project. Not only do you describe here the benefits received by the participants and the audience members of the culminating event, you should also describe how this project will benefit your own artistic development. Question 4, we ask that you go into detail about who the participants will be with the project and the audience that will be served by the project. So back to my example of craft works, needlework with senior citizens, you could say that the participants will be residents of a senior center that are age 60 to 90. And the audience members will be family members and friends of these residents. Question number 5. This is where we ask that you provide information about any collaborating artists if you have collaborating artists. If you don't have anyone, you're the sole artist on this project, you can just have a little simple statement saying, I am the only artist on this project. There will be no collaborators. But if you do have collaborators, we do ask that you list basic information about each of these people and describe why these people are their collaborators and not anyone else who might be able to provide the service. Question number 6. This is where we want you to describe your proposed relationship with the host organization. How will the two of you, how will you and your host organization work together to make your project a success? Will both of you be responsible for outreach? Will the host organization be responsible for outreach and solicitation for participants? Will you be working with a specific staff member, or will they just be opening the door and letting you work with the population? We prefer that wasn't the case. We want it to be an active relationship. And here's where you would also describe your potential alternate venues should you be recommended for a grant, but not in the council district that you are aiming for. So there's 2 more questions left with the narrative here. So question 7 is, how will you generate an atmosphere that encourages artistic expression and ensures active participation? This is kind of a classroom management question. This is where we want to know a little bit about your skills in working with a group of people and inspiring them and getting them through the path that you've designated for them through these series of workshops. Question number 8 is, we ask this of all of our grantees, whether individuals, or grant applicants I should say, whether they're individuals or organizations. We want to know how you evaluate your project. How do you evaluate your work? What specific methods will you use to gauge the success of your project? And how much time and money do you estimate will be spent on this evaluation? In essence, how do you get feedback on the project? Do you have surveys with participants or with family members of participants? Or do you have a sit-down conversation with the staff member with the host venue who you're working with, and you go point by point and you figure out where things could be better or where things were excellent and you want to repeat those things? This is where we want to learn how you gather information from your project and improve it for the next time that you plan on doing it. And then finally, we ask that you provide a timeline for your residency. When will it start? How many workshops will there be provide? So we basically want to see a listing of the workshops and what the goal is for each workshop. So if you're having 10 workshops, the first workshop would be orientation. Second workshop will be about a specific technique, so on and so forth, all the way through to the culminating event. If you already have a curriculum, that could be a supplemental item that you attach. This is more of a summary. It gives a person reviewing the proposal a quick idea of the schedule that you plan on doing and the topics you plan to cover throughout each of the workshops. We're going to go back to the task list, and to do that, once you've completed the form, you can click on Save and Exit. That'll save everything that you've entered previously. Or you can click the back button at the very top to get back to the task list. Now with the task list, you can do these tasks in any order that you want. I just happen to be going from the top down. The second task is the project budget. Now with the project budget, we have a fillable PDF form that we want you to fill out, and that's here. It's the AIR budget form. If you click this right here, It'll download the form for you, and I'm going to open it up for everyone to see. This is the budget form that we want everyone to fill out. We break down the budget between artist fees, that's yourself, and how many hours that you'll be spending on planning, the actual project sessions, and marketing evaluation, and what you're going to be charging for your own time for each of those hours and each of those tasks. Then we have down here, the next is how much you'll be paying guest artists. The third section is project materials and supplies. The fourth one is marketing. The fifth one is for evaluation supplies. And this last one is contingency, 7%. Now we want you to make a budget for the maximum grant amount, which is $8,000. So for contingency, that is going to be $560. That's the very first number, so that's something that you can start with already. Now this form is set up so it should automatically total the columns and the rows. There may be some difficulties with Mac computers. Do your best, if you have to, fill in the totals by hand. We expect to see that this column here, the Cultural Affairs request, equals $8,000 after it totals up. The donated column is any matching funds or supplies or resources or staff time that's donated by the host venue or yourself or your collaborating artists or anyone who provides something for the project. You've got a big box down here to go into detail about any of those donated supplies and items and resources. For your benefit, we have provided a sample budget, which is also in the same section here. You click on the sample budget, show everyone what that looks like. And this is the sample budget that we've provided. The one thing that we should have done better with our sample budget is for the donated column, we have all these items listed, like this $9,200 for rental equipment, but we don't describe what the rental equipment is. So that would be a point against us on this proposal. So if you have donated materials, donated equipment, be sure to describe it. So that way the panel reviewing your proposal knows what it is that is being provided for you. All right, so once you've completed the PDF form, click Start to upload it. And this will be a very familiar window because much of the rest of the windows will be this type of window. This is where you upload the actual PDF. I happen to have it here, so let's do this. And it provides a preview. And after you've done that, just click back. And you can see the task has been completed. The next item that we ask you to upload is your professional resume. Your resume should include community work, teaching experience, artistic accomplishments, as well as education and training, degrees earned, prior residency experience, and any other information relevant to your proposed project. Should you happen to be a traditional folk artist, someone who gained their skills through a mentor type situation, then we ask that you provide an additional statement that describes the extent and basis for your expertise within your discipline. The next item that we ask for you to upload are the resumes of your collaborating artists. So if you do have collaborating artists, make sure you get a resume from each one of them, and you can upload them here. You can upload more than one document in this type of box here. Just drop one in after the other, and all of them will be accepted. on this to go back to the submission. After you've uploaded your resume and your collaborating artist resume, the next thing that we want is a host venue proposal letter. This is a letter written by your host venue on their own letterhead, preferably, and signed by them, that describes the following information: what the host organization is and its mission, the amenities provided by the organization's facility, such as if there are restrooms, if they'll be providing security and janitorial staff. We ask that the host organization describe its current client demographics. Back to my sample of doing a residency at a senior facility, they would describe the residents there within a certain age, if they have any mobility issues, so on and so forth. The next thing that we'd like for them is to describe from their point of view how they'll be collaborating with you to make sure your project is a success. And these details are, do they have any ongoing art programs themselves? And if they do, how is yours different from what they already have? The anticipated impact of your proposed project on their participants, what match they'll be providing for your project. The match will include, obviously, the space. The second item that you should ask your host venue form if they can provide is general liability insurance coverage. This is a requirement of a city contract. So if you do get a grant and you don't have general liability insurance for yourself, you should ask your host venue if they will be willing to extend their general liability to cover your project. The other things that host venues have provided in previous projects in the past, just like I said, maintenance and security. Sometimes they are able to provide a staff person to help you out, marketing support, in rare cases, additional funding. So whatever it is that they're going to provide for you, they should detail and list here. And then finally, we want to know what their commitment is to coordinate, recruit, and enroll a core audience to make sure that you do have a sufficient number of participants to meet the qualifications of our program. They should send it to you as a scanned PDF, or if they give you a hard copy, you need to scan it as a PDF yourself and upload it to the application, as I've shown you previously with the other elements. The next thing that we'll be having you upload is artistic documentation. And you start with the artistic documentation form. Let's click continue. On this form here, first you have several different options of what you can upload or attach to your proposal as your artistic documentation. We ask that you pick one or two items to attach. Each item that you click here, 1 through 5, will activate a new task on your task list where you can upload those elements. If you select number 6 here, attach additional web links below, you can attach up to 3 web links right here. And you select how many you want to attach, and it'll pop up a little field for you to fill in your web links. These web links could be anything: video links, links to an Instagram page, links to, say, Facebook page, or a specific page on your website. So for our example, we will upload images and attach one YouTube or Vimeo link. This is slightly different from these 3 links here, and I'll get to that when we look at that. In this little box here, which is deceptively small, we ask that you provide a description on what your artistic documentation is. If you're providing images, we want to see a caption list there. If you're providing video, we would like to have a description of what the video is and what the relevance of that video is to your proposed project. Is it video footage of you teaching with some footage of a culminating event? That's just a previous iteration of the current project that you're doing. Make sure that a person reviewing your proposal understands the connection between the artistic documentation that you're providing and your proposed project. And as a reminder, even though this box is small, there's no word limit on this box. So make sure that don't worry about running out of space for your description. Just make sure that you have sufficient description of your work samples here. So we've clicked Upload Images and attach one YouTube or Vimeo link. That's 0. So artistic documentation is great. So because we have access to the system, we always see all the different elements that you could do for an artistic work sample. So because we clicked Upload a Video Link, the video link item is now available. And the one thing about this artistic documentation option is this only allows for one link if you have a YouTube or Vimeo video. So if you have multiple videos that you want to do show that are in YouTube or Vimeo, you should pick the very best one that you have and put it here, and put your additional videos on the links on the artistic documentation page that we just previously showed you. And all you have to do is put a title here, then type in, cut and paste the link and put it there and click Submit, and you're done. Now, for those who are doing images, I wanted to make sure to show that because it's not as clear as the other ways to upload work samples. And I need to show that on the right-hand side here, we always show in the box what type of file formats are accepted, so whichever option you pick for work samples, you can see which types of formats can be accepted by the system. Now, in order to upload images, you click on Browse. This should be a button, but it's just unfortunately plain text here. So if you click Browse, you're able to open up a window where you can browse through your computer and pick the image files that you want to attach to here. Oops. Okay. There's the back button. So we're almost done with the application. We've done the application, budget, your resume, your collaborated resume is the host venue letter, and your artistic documentation. That leaves supplementary materials. These are items that support the quality, content, relevance, and/or intended impact of the proposed project. Items that could be used as supplementary materials are marketing and promotional flyers, program materials from previous iterations, postcards, newsletters, a curriculum if you have one, letters of support or testimonials from previous participants or collaborators. We limit you to no more than 3 supplementary items. And it's Strategic, if you have a mixture of items, it gives it more of a fully rounded view of your proposal if you have different types of supplemental items in support of your project. And just like the other tasks where you can upload items, it looks just like this, where you just drop the file onto here and it'll upload to your proposal. So after you've uploaded the supplementary items, there are items left, and these are surveys. These two surveys are not seen by the peer panelists. They will not affect your proposal at all. They are surveys for DCA's information only. The first survey is the estimated service metrics form. This is where we want you to estimate demographics of your participants and audience members. We want you to provide a breakdown of the ethnicity of administrative and artists involved. If you're working by yourself, that's just going to be a 1, and you're going to put it in whichever one's appropriate. So say 1 Asian. Now the second column is percentage, and unfortunately it's not automatically calculated, so you have to put it in there. So we want to see 100% for this grayish bluish column. And then for audiences, we know this is going to be an estimate, so just do your best to estimate the ethnic breakdown of your proposed and estimated participants. So there's a column for numbers and a column for percentage again. The second question is, we would have an estimated age range of your participants. This is not a percentage, but total number. So if you have 30 participants that you'll be reaching and 50 audience members, suppose you're working with seniors and they're all in the 65 plus, and then you expect that their family members will be attending, maybe 50 of them, so maybe 25 there, 20 there, 5 there, and 5 there. Well, I've got too many now, so let's just say 80. 2B, you should leave this blank unless part of your project is to have, say, your culminating event broadcast, whether on TV or radio, or published in newspapers and magazines, or even posted online. And then you would enter into here the estimated number of people you'd reach with that broadcast or publication. And we ask that you indicate how you're using what methods you are using to reach potential participants as well as potential audience members, and the numbers associated with those methods, such as how many e-blasts, or if you're going to put it on Facebook, how many Facebook friends do you have? How many followers do you have on Twitter and YouTube that your message will be reaching? Then finally, we ask for workforce development. We want to know how many jobs our grants are supporting. Now we know that this grant is going to be either $8,000 or $4,000. So at most we expect to see 1 part-time person, which is you, the artist. So at most we expect to see 1 there, or at least 1 there, and then maybe you'll have some collaborators that you're paying. And then over here in the volunteers, you might have a couple of volunteers helping out with administration. I'm just going to hit back without completing the form. And the very last survey form that we asked you to complete is our process evaluation form. This is the survey that we use to improve our process. So be honest. Again, this is not reviewed by the peer panelists. It does not affect your grant application. And we appreciate honesty and forthrightness with this survey form because we're able to use this to improve the grant process and procedures. Once you've completed all the tasks, this thing here that says prerequisites not met will turn green, and it'll say something else. Maybe, I think it says prerequisites met or something uninventive like that. And then this button will be active, and you won't get that forbidden symbol, and you'll be able to click it and submit your application. But once you've done that, you will be unable to edit your proposal. So only click the submit your application once you are completely ready, you've got everything completed, and you feel like you have nothing more to add to your proposal, then click submit your application. That completes the digital submission of your proposal, but it does not complete your submission because we want you to submit a hard copy as well. You'll get a reminder. Once you click submit your application, you'll receive an automated email reminding you to submit a hard copy. And it'll have instructions as well. And those instructions will include, we'll let you know that we want you to click this button here. It says download submission. It will download a zipped file. And that file will hold it'll have all of the forms you filled out. It'll have snapshots of the artistic documentation that you've uploaded. There'll actually be a couple elements there depending on how many files you've attached and how much artistic documentation you've attached. There will be one item within that zip folder that is a PDF document that has everything in one document. And that document will conveniently have this title here. It'll be GA- followed by 10 digits. That is your unique identifier number for your grant proposal. There'll be a PDF document with that title. We'd like for you to print up that document and mail it in to us with your ink signature on it. This is in addition to your digital signature. So let me think this through though. Let's go back to the application form on the cover page. I think I skipped over this section here. On the cover page, after you've filled out, oh no, I don't see it there. How about that? So we don't have a signature portion on this. So what we'd like you to do with the artist in residence is instead of doing a digital signature as we have with some of our other applications, print up, after you printed up your hard copy, attach a cover letter. If you have your own letterhead, please use that. Attach a cover letter which is signed by you. I remember now what I did. The reminder that you'll get with the automated email is that we'll send you a specific text that we want you to attach into this, add to this cover letter. It's a certification text. We want you to add that to your cover letter, and by signing after that certification, you'll be certifying certain elements about that you're being honest and with your proposal, and you'll also be certifying that this is DCA's program and that we have the right to essentially do what we please with it. So we might cancel it, or we might change the grant amounts, that sort of thing. So follow the directions with the confirmation email that you get, in creating a cover letter and signing that and attaching it to your hard copy. Now your hard copy may end up being quite a few pages. If you want to print it up double-sided, that is fine. We accept single or double-sided for the hard copy application. That concludes my section of the webinar. We can open it up to just general questions now, if there's any other questions remaining. So I'm just unmuting people's microphones. Okay, everyone's microphones is unmuted. So if anyone has any general questions right now, now is the time.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Okay, the resume, should it be a chronological resume?
I haven't had that question before, but a chronological resume depends on how you organize it. You may organize it by sections, like if you have education, artistic experience, that might make more sense. But whatever makes sense to you, you're able to organize information better on your resume, I would go with that.
Yeah, okay, I thought it had to be chronological. And then, can it be more than one page?
Be as many pages as it is. You don't have a limit onto the page number, on the number of pages for your resume.
Okay, cool. I have more questions, but I don't want to hog the questions. Should I just go for it?
Go right ahead.
In the artistic samples, where there were the web links, where we could put web links, could we put like web pages that maybe we used on a previous residency, just the page and not a, I guess my confusion is we're only supposed to turn in 3 supplemental materials, and I'm confused between the supplemental materials like press or letter of recommendation or PR. Can we also use those a web page and put it in the web part that you showed us, the URL part?
Web page for a supplemental item?
I may not be using the right words. We get to have three things that we put in there. One like a letter of recommendation, maybe some press, and maybe some marketing. You had said we had to limit that to 3. Was that supplemental?
Those are supplemental items, yes. It works
okay.
best with documents that you can attach as opposed to links.
Okay.
That's just the way the system is set up.
So then what are those web items that you mentioned before where we could put in 3 URLs?
That's artistic documentation. So if you have a Instagram page where you've got photos of a lot of your previous work with residencies, you can provide a link to your Instagram page.
Oh, okay. And we could still put links to our video under the, for the sample work.
Right.
Okay, so that gives us more things that we could show you.
Any other questions?
Could I ask again, it's sort of along the same lines as she was asking. You had definitively said that there is one place where you would add a sample video. It only allows 1 submission. Yet there was another portal you took us to first that had the ability to either link to or add supplemental web information. So are those two separate things?
They are separate. Well, they are separate. The first one is a form, the artistic documentation. That form, you can have 3 links. When we set up the system, we thought that ability to attach a video link, applicants would be able to attach multiple links. But we didn't find out till later that it only allowed for 1 link. That option to attach a video link, I'm going to scroll down to that right now, designed by the system to maximize the viewing quality of a video that's online. So if you have a video on YouTube or Vimeo that specific widget is designed for, well, attach it there. And if you have additional videos, we have those 3 additional spaces on the artistic documentation form where you can add links to additional videos as well.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Thanks. Is a collaborator the same thing as a guest artist?
Yes. If you have a guest artist, it would be good to have some information on who that guest artist is. So a resume would be
right.
If you don't have a resume, we do have that part of the narrative where you can describe your guest artist.
Okay, so a guest artist and a collaborator is basically the same thing, right?
For for the application, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask something a little bit sort of off tangential here? If you do one thing, but yet this particular program is inspiring you to almost create something specific to the nature of the program, and you don't really have any past examples of it, is this not the right venue for what you're looking for? You're looking for things that are tried and true, that you've worked with these things with this population, this sector. You've got the documentation on. Do you follow what I'm asking her?
Yeah. If you're proposing something similar to what you just show, showing that. If you're doing what you've done before and going a different direction, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But you just have to be clear in your narrative, like here's the documentation for my project. Project will differ from that, but this presentation.
You know, Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you go in and out. I practically heard maybe 4 words of your response to me.
Okay.
I don't know if you could hear me or not, but I did
Okay.
not.
The short answer is, it's with this documentation.
It's still doing it. I'm sorry. You're going in and out.
I'm not certain why that's happening.
I don't know either.
Give me a call tomorrow. We can go over this. But essentially,
Okay.
You just have to make sure that your documentation backs up your narrative. So if you're trying something new, have experience. You should document your experience doing that is new.
I have to call you tomorrow because I'm not hearing it. I'll call you tomorrow and ask this question.
Right. I think that completes our webinar. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. As with that question, if you would need to have a follow-up, well, we are here. Our number is 2.
I'll have to look that up too because I can't hear you say it.
I know, I can't
somebody,
hear either.
Somebody types
There's
it.
feedback. It's like feedback.
It's just in and out. It's spotty works.
How about I do this? Okay. So the number to reach us tomorrow is 213-202-5566. thank you for spending your time with us again, and we look forward to seeing your proposals.